Hello, my witches and wizards, and welcome back to Rain Night Stories. Tonight, we are not just listening to a tale, we are stepping into a magical journey together. This is not only a story, it's your story, a journey where you are the main character, experiencing life at Hogwarts, the legendary school of witchcraft and wizardry. As you travel with us, you will wander through the mysterious depths of the Forbidden Forest, hear the roar of the crowd during your very first Quidditch match, gaze into the mirror of Erised and discover the deepest desires of your heart. You will sneak through corridors on a midnight adventure, stumble upon the hidden secrets of the castle, and sit among friends at the grand Halloween feast with candles floating overhead and magic filling the hall. And this is only the beginning. In every chapter, you live these experiences as if you are truly there, not just listening, but belonging. Here in this world, tomorrow's worries fade away. Overthinking, stress, and heavy thoughts drift aside. All that remains is comfort, magic, and wonder. This is your safe place to rest, to dream, and to find cozy sleep. Before we begin, I have a small request. We are a very small channel, and we work incredibly hard to bring you these journeys. Please, take a moment to subscribe to Rain Night Stories, give this video a like, and share it with a friend who might also need a little magic tonight. And in the comments, tell us which country you are listening from and what magical experience you'd love us to create next. Your support means everything. It keeps this magical world alive for you and for others. So now take a deep breath, set aside the day. The train to Hogwarts is waiting, and your adventure begins right now. The Hogwarts Express hums softly as it speeds through the countryside, the rhythmic clatter of wheels on tracks blending with the gentle patter of rain. Outside, the night is dark and misty, but inside your carriage, golden lantern light glows warmly. You lean your head against the cool glass window, watching the blurred landscape slip past. The air is filled with excitement, whispers of spells, laughter of new friends, the rustling of robes as students shuffle in their seats. Somewhere a chocolate frog leaps from its box, and a group of students giggle as they try to catch it. Hours seem to pass in a dream, until suddenly the train slows, then comes to a gentle stop. A hush falls across the carriages. The door opens with a creak, and a familiar voice calls out through the mist. "First years, this way! First years, follow me!" You step off the train and into the crisp night air. The rain has eased to a soft drizzle, cool against your skin. A vast black lake stretches before you, its surface shimmering under the moonlight. And there, high above on the cliffs, rises Hogwarts Castle. Its towers pierce the clouds, windows glowing warmly like hundreds of watchful eyes. The sight steals your breath away. The castle feels ancient and alive, as though it has been waiting for you all along. "In the boats now! Thor to a boat!" You climb into a small wooden boat with 3 others. The water is smooth, and the boats glide silently as though pushed by invisible hands. Owls circle high above, their wings whispering through the mist. The closer you drift toward the castle, the larger and more magnificent it becomes. Its stone walls seem carved by giants, its turrets reaching for the stars. Finally, you pass under a great archway and step onto solid ground once more. You are led up a grand staircase and into the castle itself. Inside, the warmth wraps around you instantly. Torches flicker against ancient stone, portraits whisper from their frames, and a faint smell of polished wood and candle wax fills the air. Soon you find yourself standing in the great hall. The ceiling above is enchanted, reflecting the night sky, dark clouds swirling dotted with stars. 4 long tables stretch before you, each alive with chatter, while a golden staff table gleams at the far end. But before you can sit, there is one more step, the sorting hat. One by one, names are called, and each new student walks to the front, placing the ancient and weathered hat upon their head. The hall grows silent each time, waiting for the sorting hat to announce its decision. Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, or Slytherin. Cheers erupt from each table as students find their new homes. At last, your name is called. You step forward, your heart pounding, your palms damp. The sorting hat rests on your head, and suddenly a voice whispers in your ear, curious, thoughtful, as though it can read every secret you've ever held. Ah, another young wizard? Yes, I see courage. Yes, cleverness too. Oh, such a thirst to prove yourself, and a kindness that glows bright. But where shall I place you? You take a slow breath. Whatever house the hat chooses, it feels as though destiny itself is unfolding. After a moment, the sorting hat announces your house, and cheers explode from one of the 4 tables. You are no longer just a visitor. You belong. Later that night, guided by your prefect, you step into your common room. The crackle of a fire greets you, warm and welcoming. Soft chairs and old books surround you, and the sound of rain tapping against the tall windows is steady and soothing. Your bed awaits upstairs, draped in heavy blankets. As you climb under the covers, safe within the walls of Hogwarts, you feel your eyelids grow heavy. The journey has ended, and yet, in truth, it has only just begun. Golden and dappled, filtered through the scarlet and gold curtains that surround your bed. For a moment, you lie still beneath the warm blankets, listening. The castle itself seems to breathe around you, the creak of wood, the flutter of wings outside, the faint hum of magic in the air. You stretch, step into your robes, and make your way down to the common room. The fire has burned low, glowing with embers, and a few early risers murmur sleepily as they gather books and bags. Beyond the portrait hole, the castle is alive with sound. Footsteps echoing, owls hooting, distant laughter carried through the stone corridors. The great hall is already buzzing when you arrive. Hundreds of floating candles drift lazily above the enchanted ceiling, which shows the pale morning sky. Platters of breakfast appear as if by magic. Golden toast, steaming porridge, glistening fruit, and pitchers of pumpkin juice.
Students chatter happily, some still rubbing sleep from their eyes, while others compare timetables for their first day of lessons. An owl swoops gracefully down and lands near your plate, dropping off your schedule with a neat little bow before fluttering back up toward the rafters. You glance down and read the list of subjects: transfiguration, charms, potions, herbology, and more. Each name stirs excitement, the promise of spells and secrets yet to be discovered. After breakfast, your housemates gather together, led through winding staircases and shifting corridors. The castle is a labyrinth of wonders: staircases that move of their own accord, suits of armor that mutter when you pass, portraits that lean out of their frames to gossip and wave. Every turn seems to reveal a new mystery, and it feels as though Hogwarts itself is testing your sense of direction. Your first lesson is charms. The classroom smells faintly of parchment and ink, its shelves lined with ancient tomes. Professor Flitwick greets the class warmly, his eyes twinkling as he climbs atop a stack of books to see over the desk. With a flick of his wand, quills rise from the tables, floating like birds in flight. Gasps and laughter ripple through the room as magic settles around you. For the first time, you realize this isn't just a dream. You are truly learning magic. Later, in herbology, the air is damp and earthy inside the greenhouse. Rows of peculiar plants stretch out in every direction, some glowing faintly, others rustling as though alive. Professor Sprout shows you how to handle a small potted plant that squirms against your grip, its leaves quivering with personality. Your gloves become smudged with soil, and you can't help but smile at the strangeness of it all. By afternoon, you find yourself in potions, deep in the dungeons where the air is cool and still. The stone walls flicker with candlelight, casting long shadows across rows of cauldrons. Professor Snape glides silently into the room, his voice smooth and commanding as he begins the lesson. You carefully measure ingredients: a sprig of dittany, a pinch of powdered root, stirring clockwise, then counterclockwise. The potion shimmers faintly, and you hold your breath, half expecting it to sparkle or smoke. Between lessons, you share laughter with classmates, trade notes, and marvel at the castle's endless mysteries. A staircase shifts under your feet, carrying you to an entirely different landing than before. A hidden door swings open to reveal a shortcut lined with portraits who bow politely as you pass. Hogwarts feels alive, playful and secretive, as though it enjoys keeping you on your toes. When evening comes, you return to the Great Hall for dinner. Platters appear in a shimmer of magic, laden with roast chicken, buttered vegetables, and treacle tart. The chatter of hundreds of students fills the air, blending with the crackle of torches and the sweep of owls soaring overhead. At the Gryffindor table, your housemates cheer and laugh, sharing stories of mishaps in class, spilt ink, and nearly exploding cauldrons. Afterwards, the prefects lead you back to the common room. The fire blazes brightly now, casting golden light across the walls. Students lounge in armchairs, some bent over homework, others playing wizard chess or sipping hot cocoa. You feel the warmth of belonging, as though this is already home. Finally, you climb the spiral staircase back to your dormitory. The rain has returned outside, tapping softly against the glass. You sink into your bed, heavy blankets pulled close, and let out a long sigh. Your first day at Hogwarts has ended, a day of wonder, laughter, and discovery. As sleep pulls you under, you know this is only the beginning. The castle holds 1,000 more secrets, waiting patiently for you to find them at long last. And so, under the watchful stars above, you drift once more into dreams.
Hogwarts. The golden light of dawn slipping through high windows and spilling across the Gryffindor common room. Students bustle around you, gathering books and scrolls, their voices soft and harried. Today, you've decided to explore one of the most famous places in the castle, the Hogwarts Library. With your bag slung over your shoulder, you follow a group of classmates down long stone corridors. The castle feels quieter this morning, more thoughtful somehow, as though it knows exactly where you're headed. Sunbeams filter through stained glass, casting colored patterns on the floor, while portraits yawn and structure wake in their frames. At last, you reach a pair of tall wooden doors, carved with curling patterns of ivy and runes. As you push them open, a hush falls immediately over the world, the library. Rows upon rows of towering shelves stretch higher than you imagined, disappearing into soft shadows above. Golden candlelight flickers in floating sconces, glowing against polished wood and parchment. The air smells of dust, ink, and the faint sweetness of old magic. Everywhere, students sit hunched over books, quills scratching softly. Some read aloud in whispers, practicing spells. Others leaf carefully through enormous volumes that look older than the castle itself. Somewhere deep in the stacks, a chair scrapes softly against stone. You step inside, your footsteps muffled against the thick rug beneath your shoes. The silence is not empty, it is live, filled with the rustling of turning pages, the soft crackle of candle flames, and something else, something like a whisper. Madame Pince, the librarian, glides past you with sharp eyes, her robes trailing behind her. She casts you a glance, watchful, protective, then disappears between shelves with a stack of books clutched tightly to her chest. You make your way through the aisles. The spines shimmer faintly under candlelight. Titles of charms, magical creatures, potions, and histories that seem to hum with quiet power. One heavy book quivers slightly as you pass, as though it longs to be opened. Another lets out a tiny sigh, its cover puffing with dust. The whispers grow stronger. At first you think it's the echo of students studying, but soon you realize the sound is coming from the shelves themselves. A low, secretive murmur, words too soft to catch, weaving through the air like threads of wind. It seems the books are alive, carrying on conversations when no one is listening. You pause at a corner where the shelves meet in a circle. In the center stands a single reading desk, its surface bathed in golden light from a floating lamp. You rest your hand on the wood, and the whispers swell, like waves rolling closer to shore. Curious, you pull a book at random from the shelf. Its cover is bound in deep blue leather, stamped with silver stars that glimmer faintly when you tilt it. The pages flutter open by themselves, stopping on a passage written in fine, spidery handwriting. The words seem to glow faintly, and as you read them, you feel a tingling at the back of your neck, as though the library itself is listening. The whispers hush, waiting.
It lives in pages, in voices, in memories. Those who seek it will always find more than they expected. The words fade, and the whispers slowly resume, soft, steady, endless. You return the book gently, your fingertips lingering on the cover. As you wander deeper into the shelves, you notice a rope cordoning off a darker section, the restricted section. The air beyond the barrier feels colder, heavier. Chains lock the books in place, and faint glimmers of enchantment spark between the covers. Even from here, you can feel the whispers pressing louder, darker, like secrets clawing to be told. For a long moment, you stand there, heart thumping. You know you shouldn't cross, not without a signed note from a professor. Still, the mystery lingers like a shadow at the edge of your thoughts. Footsteps echo behind you, and you turn quickly. A prefect passes, their arms stacked with parchment, giving you a polite nod before disappearing around the corner. The spell of the restricted section breaks, and you let out a quiet breath you didn't know you were holding. You spend the rest of the afternoon tucked into a corner near a tall window, sunlight spilling over your shoulders. Your chosen book rests open before you, its ink flowing with diagrams of charms and runes. Every so often, you glance up at the shelves, half expecting them to lean closer, to whisper directly in your ear. By evening, as the last light of day fades and lanterns brighten, you finally gather your things. The library door closes behind you with a soft click, and the whispers vanish all at once, leaving the castle silent, as though the knowledge of the day has been carefully folded away, waiting for tomorrow. You climb the staircases back to Gryffindor Tower, the warmth of the common room greeting you once again. The fire crackles, and students laugh softly over games of wizard chess. Your bed waits upstairs, blankets heavy and inviting. As you drift beneath the covers, your mind still hums with the voices of the library, gentle whispers of magic and knowledge, secrets and stories. You close your eyes, and in the hush of night, it almost feels as though the books are still speaking, waiting for you to return. And with that thought, you sink into dreams.
The morning air at Hogwarts feels fresh and alive as you make your way down to the Quidditch pitch. The sun glows softly above, its golden light spilling over the towers and stone walls, casting long shadows across the lawns. Birds wheel and swoop in the distance, their calls echoing through the open sky. Today is the day of your first flying lesson. Your classmates chatter nervously as you gather in a line on the green. Madam Hooch, sharp-eyed and steady, paces before you. Her whistle gleams at her throat, and her voice carries across the field. Stand by your broomsticks. Come on, quickly now, one to each. You glance down at the broom laid neatly on the grass. Its wood gleams in the sunlight, smooth but faintly scratched, as though it remembers every student who has flown before you. A knot of excitement twists in your chest. Now,
Madam Hooch instructs. Hold out your right hand over your broomstick and say, "Up." Voices echo across the field. Up, up, uh, up. Some brooms twitch, others roll lazily in the grass. One leaps eagerly into a student hand, drawing laughter. You take a steady breath, stretch out your hand, and call firmly, "Up." To your delight, the broom snaps into your palm as though it has been waiting just for you. The handle hums faintly under your touch, alive with magic. "Well done," Madam Hooch says, sweeping her gaze across the line. "Now, mount your broomsticks. Carefully, both hands on the handle, feet just above the ground." The class obeys, nervous and wobbly. You swing your leg over and settle into the seat. The broom shifts beneath you like a restless horse eager to take flight. Good. Now, when I blow my whistle, kick off gently. Keep steady, rise a few feet, hover, and then come back down. Nice and smooth. A sharp blast of the whistle cuts through the air. Around you, students push off. Some hover neatly, robes fluttering. Others wobble, drifting too far to the left or spinning in circles. One broom bolts suddenly upward with a screech from its rider before jerking back down with a thud in the grass. You grip tightly, heart pounding, and kick off. The ground slips away beneath your feet. For a breathless moment you hover, weightless, as though the world itself has let go of you. The wind brushes your face, cool and alive. You steady yourself, adjusting the tilt of the broom until it balances smoothly beneath you.
The field spreads out below you, the grass a soft quilt of green. Above, the sky stretches wide and endless. For the first time, you understand the freedom of flight. "Very good," Madam Hooch calls. "Now try a little forward motion. Lean gently. Yes, that's it." You tilt forward and the broom responds instantly. It glides ahead, smooth and graceful. Air rushes past your ears, cool and exhilarating. Laughter bubbles from your chest, carried away on the wind. Around you, classmates experiment, some soaring a little higher, others circling carefully, their nervous cries giving way to cheers of delight. The field becomes alive with movement, brooms swooping low, darting forward, wobbling, spinning, recovering. For a moment, you close your eyes. The sun warms your skin, the breeze runs its fingers through your hair, and you feel completely free. But then, a gasp rings out. One student, eager to show off, leans too far and loses control. Their broom jerks sideways, bucking wildly, carrying them up toward the stands. The class shouts. Madam Hooch blows her whistle sharply, but the broom swerves, sending the rider dangling by one hand. Your heart lurches. Without thinking, you lean forward, urging your broom into motion. It surges beneath you, cutting through the air, carrying you closer. The student slips.
and just in time you swoop beside them. With one hand you steady their arm. Their eyes meet yours, wide and fearful. Together you guide the broom back down to the grass, landing in a rough but safe heap. The class erupts with cheers. Madam Hooch strides forward, stern, but with a flicker of approval in her eyes. "Bravery is all well and good," she says, "but next time, caution too." The student you rescued gives you a grateful smile, still pale but safe. As the lesson ends, the brooms settle back onto the grass. Your classmates chatter excitedly, retelling their near falls and wobbles, laughing at themselves. You glance once more at the sky above. For a brief time you were part of it, light, fast, free. That feeling lingers as you walk back toward the castle, the sun now sinking lower, painting the stone walls gold. Inside, the warmth of Hogwarts greets you once more. Dinner fills the great hall with light and laughter. And later, the Gryffindor common room welcomes you with its crackling fire. At last, you climb the stairs to your dormitory. Rain begins to patter against the windows, soft and steady, as though the castle itself is sighing into sleep. You curl beneath the blankets, your muscles pleasantly tired, your heart still soaring from the day's adventure. Your last thought before dreams take you is simple. You have flown, and the sky will never feel the same again.
Night falls gently over Hogwarts. Outside the windows, the rain has slowed to a mist, silvered by moonlight. Inside Gryffindor Tower, the fire burns low, and most of your housemates are tucked in bed, their soft breathing filling the dormitory. But the castle never truly sleeps. You lie awake beneath the heavy blankets, listening. Somewhere in the distance a clock chimes the hour. The embers in the fireplace pop faintly, and from beyond the walls comes the faint groan of shifting stone, as though the castle itself is stretching in its slumber. Sleep will not come. Curiosity tugs at you like a gentle hand, urging you from your bed. Carefully, quietly, you slip from beneath the covers and make your way down the spiral staircase. The common room is empty now, shadows flickering across the scarlet walls, the fire reduced to glowing coals. The portrait of the fat lady snores softly in her frame, but opens with a yawn when you whisper the password. Beyond her, the corridors stretch out, long, torchlit passages, silent except for the hush of your footsteps. The castle feels different at night. The laughter of the day is gone, replaced by a hush that makes every sound sharper. The creak of the floor beneath your foot, the rustle of tapestries in a draught. The air is cooler, carrying the faint scent of wax and stone. You wander carefully, tracing your hand along the wall as staircases loom ahead. One of them shifts suddenly, groaning as it swings sideways, carrying you to a landing you don't remember seeing before. A row of portraits line the wall. Some are fast asleep, snoring loudly. Others blink awake as you pass. "Out rather late, aren't we?" mutters a gentleman in a feathered hat, peering down his nose. A lady in her ruffled gown hushes him. Don't frighten the poor child. The castle has its own way of leading those who need it. Their painted eyes follow you as you continue down the corridor. At the far end, a tall window looks out over the grounds. You pause, gazing through the glass. The lake glimmers faintly under the moon, still and endless, while the forbidden forest looms dark and mysterious at its edge. The sight makes your heart race, beautiful and a little frightening all at once. A sudden sound breaks the quiet, the soft pad of paws. You turn. At the end of the hall, golden eyes gleam in the torchlight. Mrs. Norris. The caretaker's Pat slinks forward, tail twitching, her gaze sharp and unblinking. You freeze, knowing that where Mrs. Norris prowls, Fuchs is never far behind. Your heart pounds. You glance around desperately, searching for escape. Just as Mrs. Norris opens her mouth to yowl, you notice a tapestry hanging crookedly against the wall. Without thinking, you tug it aside. Behind it, a narrow passage yawns open, spiraling downward into shadow.
You slip inside. The tapestry falls closed, muffling the outside world. The air here is cooler, and dust tickles your nose as you descend. The stairs twist tightly, leading to a small stone corridor lit only by the faint shimmer of enchanted torches. You follow it slowly, hand brushing the wall. The whispers begin again, faint, curious, as though the castle itself is speaking to you. A breeze stirs, carrying the smell of old parchment and ink. At last, the corridor opens into a hidden chamber. It is small and round, with shelves carved directly into the stone walls. Books rest upon them, their covers faded with age, some bound in leather, others in cloth that seems centuries old. A single table stands in the center, and on it lies a rolled parchment sealed with red wax. You approach, your footsteps echoing softly. The wax bears the Hogwarts crest, lion, eagle, badger, and serpent entwined. With a trembling hand, you lift the parchment. The seal breaks with a soft snap, and the scroll unfurls by itself. The words are written in flowing script, glowing faintly in the dim light. To those who wander, know this: Hogwarts is a castle of secrets, passages hidden, staircases that deceive, rooms that appear only when needed. Trust in courage, for it will guide you. And remember, The castle belongs to those who listen. As the last word fades, the scroll rolls itself closed. The whispers fall silent. You return it gently to the table, heart still racing. The chamber seems to exhale, its magic satisfied, and the torches dim to a faint glow. Quietly, you retrace your steps, climbing the spiral back toward the tapestry. When you slip out, the corridor is empty. Mrs. Norris is gone. The castle is silent once more. Relieved, you make your way back through the shifting staircases and torchlit halls, finally reaching the fat lady's portrait. She blinks sleepily as you whisper the password, then swings open with a creak. The common room greets you with warmth, the fire still glowing faintly. You climb the stairs, step back into your dormitory, and sink into your bed. The blankets are cool and heavy, the sound of rain soft against the windows. As your eyes drift closed, you think of the scroll's words. The castle belongs to those who listen, and tonight you listened. You belong.
Morning breaks bright and golden over Hogwarts. For the first time since you arrived, the sky is clear. No mist, no rain, just the shining sun, casting light across the turrets and towers. You awaken to the sound of footsteps and chatter. Your doormates are already bustling with excitement. Today is no ordinary day. Today is Quidditch. The air seems charged, as if the castle itself knows what's coming. By breakfast, the Great Hall is buzzing with noise. Flags ripple above each house table, shimmering in their colours: scarlet and gold, green and silver, blue and bronze, and yellow and black. Everyone talks at once, their voices rising and falling like the waves of the lake. You eat little, too nervous, too eager. Soon enough, you're swept along with the crowd, out of the hall, down stone steps, and across the grounds. The Quidditch pitch towers ahead, tall wooden stands circling a vast oval field, ringed at each end by 3 golden hoops. Banners flap in the breeze, enchanted so the lions of Gryffindor roar, the serpents of Slytherin coil, the eagles of Ravenclaw swoop, and the badgers of Hufflepuff dig with cheerful vigour. You take your seat among your housemates. The air is cool and fresh, carrying the smell of grass. Excitement crackles all around you. Then, with a blast of trumpets, the players emerge from the locker rooms, brooms in hand. The announcer's voice booms magically across the pitch. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Quidditch!" The crowd erupts. 14 players mount their brooms. Scarlet robes gleam under the sun as Gryffindor takes to the air, golden thread catching the light. The other team rises too, their robes billowing. The whistle shrieks, the quaffle is thrown, and the game begins. You can hardly breathe. Players dart and dive, soaring higher than the stands, plunging close to the ground, broomsticks whistling through the air. The quaffle is passed with dizzying speed, cheered on by students waving their house colours.
Bludgers streak through the sky, heavy iron bulls smashing toward flares, only to be struck aside by beaches with strong, resounding cracks. And then a flash of gold, the snitch, tiny, winged, darting in and out of sunlight. The seeker gives chase, leaning low over the broom, hair whipping behind in the wind. The crowd gasps, following every twist and turn, every sudden dive. Your heart races as the game grows faster, wilder. The sound of the crowd is a roar. Your housemates are on their feet, voices hoarse from cheering. It feels as though the very air hums with magic and speed. At last, with one final dive, the seeker's hand closes around the glimmering snitch. The whistle blows and the game is over. Cheers erupt, banners wave wildly, and the stands tremble with stamping feet. Your house has won! Joy floods through you as you cheer with the others. The players descend to the pitch, flushed and grinning, lifting the seeker high into the air. The golden snitch gleams in the sunlight, proof of victory. Even after the game ends, the excitement lingers. As you file back into the castle with the others, the air feels alive, filled with laughter and chatter. But by evening, the energy fades into a comfortable drowsiness. Dinner is a feast, roast potatoes, steaming pies, and cakes topped with whipped cream. But your eyes are heavy, your body pleasantly tired. When at last you return to Gryffindor Tower, the firelight flickers gently across the common room. You sink into a soft chair by the hearth, listening to the murmur of voices and the crackle of flames. The warmth seeps into you as easing every muscle, calming the racing memory of the match. Later, in your bed, you curl beneath the blankets. Outside the window, the night is calm once more, the sky sprinkled with stars. You close your eyes, the image of the golden snitch still glowing in your mind, wings fluttering like a heartbeat. Sleep comes swiftly, carrying you into dreams of flight, swift, fearless, and free.
Night has fallen, and the castle is hushed. But tonight, instead of drifting to bed, you and a small group of first years who have been summoned. Lanterns sway in the hands of prefects as they guide you down, out of the warm castle halls and across the cool grass of the grounds. The air is still, the moon bright above. Ahead, the edge of the forbidden forest looms, ancient, vast, and shadowed. Its trees rise like giants, their branches tangled together, their trunks wider than the walls of a room. The sight makes your stomach flutter. Waiting at the edge of the forest is Hagrid, the keeper of keys and grounds. His lantern casts a golden glow across his beard and worn smile. "Come on, then. Don't be afraid. Long as you stay close, the forest won't do you no harm." And so, with Hagrid leading the way, you step into the forest. The moment you cross beneath the trees, the air changes. It is cooler here, damp and rich with the smell of moss and earth. Leaves whisper overhead, though no breeze stirs them. Lantern light flickers against twisted roots, against bark furrowed deep as wrinkles.
against webs strung high like silver thread. Your footsteps sound small against the hush. Somewhere in the distance, an owl hoots its call long and low. A branch snaps, too heavy a sound for mere wind. A shiver runs down your spine. But Hagrid walks steadily on, humming under his breath, the lantern swinging, his presence solid and reassuring. Deeper you go. The forest seems endless, its shadows folding in on themselves. Every so often, eyes gleam in the dark, curious, watchful, golden or green. Yet when the light reaches them, they vanish, leaving only silence. At last you enter a clearing. Moonlight spills between the branches, painting silver across the ground. The trees here arch high above, like the vaulted ceiling of a cathedral. The air glows faintly, shimmering with something unseen. Then you notice them. Creatures move just beyond the circle of light. Tall, graceful shapes with manes like starlight. Unicorns. Their coats gleam white as snow, their hooves silent as they step across the grass. A foal lingers near its mother, curious eyes fixed on you. Your breath catches. Time seems to hold still. Even Hagrid lowers his voice. Beautiful, aren't they? Pure magic they are. Don't you worry. They'll not harm a soul. For a moment, the forest feels alive in a different way. Not frightening, but full of wonder. The unicorns bow their heads to sip from a pool of water, its surface glimmering like glass. The clearing is quiet, but for the soft ripple of water and the faint rustle of leaves. Then, just as swiftly as they appeared, the unicorns vanish back into the trees. The clearing feels dimmer without them, though the memory of their glow lingers in your chest like a light. Hagrid turns to you all. Right then, that's enough adventure for one night. Best get you back before the professors come looking. And so you return, following the lantern's glow out of the forest. The shadows close behind you, but the fear has ebbed. In its place is awe, a secret you will carry forever. The beauty hidden in the forbidden forest, seen only by those who dare to enter. Back in the castle, the warmth of Gryffindor Tower greets you once more. You climb into bed, pulling the blankets up to your chin. The sound of the forest still hums faintly in your ears. The rustle of leaves, the whisper of hooves on grass. Your eyes close. And though the forest is forbidden, tonight it has given you a gift. The memory of silver light and the quiet grace of unicorns beneath the moon.
The castle is silent. The fires in the great hall are long extinguished, the corridors empty, the portraits slumbering in their frames. But in Gryffindor Tower, not everyone is asleep. You lie in your four-poster bed, listening to the soft snores of your dorm mates, when a whisper breaks the quiet. Psst! You awake. You roll over to see a friend peeking at you through the curtains with a mischievous grin on their face.
In their hand is a candle stub, flame flickering. Come on, let's have a look around, just for a little while. Curiosity stirs, stronger than sleep. Carefully you slip from your bed, tug on your robes, and together you tiptoe down the spiral staircase. The common room is dim, lit only by the embers of the fire. The fat lady yawns as you whisper the password, then swings her portrait open with a reluctant sigh. The corridor beyond is cool, the air smelling faintly of stone and wax. You suppress a giggle as your footsteps echo off the floor. Every sound feels louder at night. The groan of old wood, the distant drip of water, even your own breath. "Where should we go?" your friend whispers. You both think for a moment. Then, with a conspiratorial glance, you start toward the moving staircases. The castle is a labyrinth. Corridors twist and turn. Staircases shift with a groan of stone, and shadows stretch long across the walls. But wandering here feels thrilling, as though the castle itself is daring you to uncover its secrets. At one landing, you pass a portrait of a knight in gleaming armor. He stirs, blinking awake. "Out for a midnight quest, are you?" he asked in a booming whisper, raising his sword. "Shh," hisses your friend, and you both stifle laughter as the knight chuckles and falls back asleep. The stair beneath your feet lurches suddenly, swinging you toward an unfamiliar passage. At its end hangs a tapestry of trolls in ballet tutus mid-spin. You glance behind it on a whim and discover a narrow, hidden passage. Shall we? The passage is dusty and steep, winding downward. Your candlelight throws long shadows on the stone. At the end, you stumble into a vast, forgotten chamber filled with old furniture stacked high, broken desks, cracked mirrors, piles of chairs reaching near to the ceiling. The place smells of wood polish and dust, and also something magical. A cracked wardrobe door swings open, and for a moment you think something is inside. But when you look closer, it is only your reflection, tired eyes, tousled hair, and the faintest trace of wonder. You two laugh softly, exploring the chamber like archaeologists uncovering treasure. Your friend balances on a chair, arms outstretched. You find a tarnished candlestick that sparks faintly when touched. The room seems endless, every corner hiding something strange and curious. But just as you're about to peek into an old trunk, a sound freezes you. Footsteps, steady, measured, growing closer. You snuff the candle in a hurry, heart pounding. In the dark, you clutch your friend's hand. The footsteps echo through the passage, then pause, a low grumbling cough. Filch! You hold your breath, daring not to move. The caretaker mutters to himself, his cat's claws clicking across the floor. The sound lingers, then slowly fades away, swallowed by distance. Only when silence returns do you let out a shaky laugh. That was close. Deciding not to test your luck further, you both retrace your steps, climb the hidden passage, and slip back into the corridor. The staircases seemed kinder now, carrying you swiftly toward Gryffindor Tower as though the castle itself approves of your adventure. The fat lady opens her portrait without complaint, though she gives a knowing smile. Back in before dawn. Wise choice, my dears. At last, you creep into your dormitory and tumble into bed. Your muscles ache with laughter and nerves, your eyelids heavy. The blankets are cool and soft, the room warm, with the sound of gentle snores. As you drift off, you think of the hidden chamber, of old furniture piled high and shadows that seemed alive. Hogwarts is full of mysteries, but tonight, one of them belongs to you. Sleep takes you swiftly, carrying you into dreams of secret doors and adventures that wait just beyond the candlelight.
It begins as another ordinary evening at Hogwarts. The castle is quiet after dinner, its torches burning low. You stroll slowly through the corridors, the day's lessons swirling in your mind. Incantations, charms, the soft rustle of parchment, and the smell of ink. But tonight, something feels different. Perhaps it's the way the staircases keep carrying you to unexpected landings. Or perhaps it's the way the portraits glance at you as you pass, their eyes following with a look of quiet amusement, as though they know something you do not. Eventually, you find yourself before a long, empty stretch of wall on the 7th floor. A tapestry hangs nearby, depicting a group of trolls attempting to learn ballet. They wobble clumsily on their toes, arms raised, one of them falling mid-spin. You chuckle softly, then turn back to the blank wall. And there, you notice something odd. Your feet have carried you down this hall once, twice, 3 times. The second time you thought it coincidence. The third time it feels like the castle is guiding you. On your next pass, the stone ripples like water. A door melts into existence where none stood before. Tall, arched, and ancient, with a handle of bronze worn smooth by countless hands. Your heart leaps. Slowly, you push it open. Inside, you step into a room unlike you've ever seen. The air hums faintly with enchantment, the smell of candle wax and polished wood, comforting and strange. The chamber is vast, stretching higher and wider than seems possible, shelves and objects fading into shadow. At first glance, it looks like a library.
Shelves brim with books of every shape and size, their titles glowing faintly. But as you move further, it shifts. A fireplace roars to life, filling the space with warmth. A table appears with steaming mugs of cocoa, their chocolatey scent drifting upward. A soft chair beckons near the fire, piled with blankets that look impossibly soft. The room seems alive, changing to fit your thoughts, your needs, your unspoken wishes. You wander deeper, marveling. In one corner stands a practice dummy, quietly waiting for spells to be cast. In another, a cabinet opens to reveal stacks of parchment and quills for writing. A wardrobe glimmers, filled with cloaks lined in fur. A harp strums itself, its golden strings plucking a lullaby that settles over your shoulders like a blanket. Your footsteps echo softly as you explore. Every time you think of something, comfort, knowledge, even just a moment of peace, the room provides it. A cushion appears when you long to sit. A lantern blooms when you want more light. A stack of old novels tumbles onto a low table when you think of stories. It is as though the room listens. At last, you sink into the armchair by the fire. The cocoa is warm in your hands, the blanket heavy across your lap. The flames crackle and dance, shadows swaying gently across the stone walls. You sip slowly, and the world outside seems to fade. Hours could pass here. Perhaps they already have. Time feels different in this place, softer, slower, as though the room itself wishes to cradle you in quiet. But eventually you know you must leave. The fire flickers lower, the heart song grows faint, and the room seems to whisper farewell. You rise, setting the mug aside. The blanket folds itself neatly, vanishing into the chair. The door reappears behind you, glowing faintly. With one last look at the magical chamber, you step out. The door shuts with a quiet click, and when you glance back, the wall is once more black. You return to Gryffindor Tower, your heart calm, your mind alight with wonder. Curling beneath your blankets, you close your eyes, the memory of the room still warm around you. A room that appears only when you need it most. And tonight, it gave you exactly what you needed. Comfort, peace, and the knowledge that Hogwarts is always listening.
It begins with a whisper, a rumor passed between students at the back of class, a hushed story traded at dinner, a secret you aren't sure you believe. Somewhere in the castle, they say, there is a mirror unlike any other,
Not an ordinary mirror that shows your reflection, but one that reveals your heart's deepest desire. You don't mean to look for it, but the castle seems to guide you anyway. It happens late one evening when the corridors are silent and the torches burn low. You wander through empty halls, your footsteps hushed by worn carpets. The portraits slumber in their frames, some snoring loudly, others mumbling dreams. The staircases creak faintly as you pass, shifting in slow, lazy arcs. Then you find yourself in a corridor you'd never remembered, long, narrow, and quiet as breath. At the end stands a door you've never seen before, half hidden behind a suit of armor. You slip inside. The room is empty but for one single object: the mirror. It is enormous, taller than 3 people, its frame carved with curling gold, topped with strange symbols that glint faintly in the dim light. The surface gleams like water, reflecting the faint glow of your lantern. You step closer, heart quickening. At first, you expect to see only yourself, robes a little wrinkled, hair tousled from the damp night air. But then something shifts. The reflection changes. There, behind your own image, appear people, faces, moments that cannot be real. Figures you long for, dreams you've carried quietly, hopes that feel both near and impossibly far. They smile at you, warm and gentle, their presence filling you with a strange ache and an even stranger joy. You press your hand to the glass. It feels cool, solid, and yet the images remain. Not ghosts, not shadows, but something deeper, as if the mirror has reached into your heart and pulled forth its most secret wish. For a while, you cannot move. You simply stand gazing, your chest rising and falling with quiet wonder. Behind you, the castle whispers faintly, the groan of wood, the crackle of torchlight. But here, in this small chamber, it feels as though time has paused, holding you in a spell. Finally, with effort, you step back. The images fade, leaving only your reflection once more. Your lantern flickers the glass, and you see yourself clearly again. Small, tired, curious, but braver somehow for having looked. The mirror waits silently, but you know it cannot follow you. Its magic belongs here, in this secret room hidden from the world. With a last glance, half sorrow, half comfort, you turn away. The door closes softly behind you, and when you look back, the corridor is empty, silent as though the mirror was never there. You find your way to Gryffindor Tower, the warmth of the fire welcoming you home. The beds are quiet, the curtains drawn, the world of dreams already claimed by your housemates. You climb beneath your blankets, heart heavy and full all at once. The images still linger in your mind, glowing faintly like embers. The castle seems to sigh round you, its stone walls settling into silence. Your eyelids grow heavy, and as sleep takes you, the mirror of memory fades, not gone, but resting quietly like a secret tucked safely in your heart.
The day begins like any other at Hogwarts, but you can sense something different in the air. Whispers ripple through the corridors, footsteps hurry more quickly than usual, and even the portraits seem to stir with extra excitement. Halloween has arrived, and the castle is preparing for a feast unlike any other. Classes pass more slowly than ever. Even Professor McGonagall seems distracted, her chalk squeaking a little faster across the blackboard, as though she too has somewhere else to be. In potions, cauldrons bubble with richer smells than usual, and though Professor Snape scowls as always, you're almost certain you saw the faintest twitch of a smile when someone's concoction let out a puff of orange smoke. By late afternoon, the sky outside the windows darkens earlier than usual. Clouds gather, low and heavy, and a mist curls along the edges of the grounds. The torches in the corridors burn brighter, throwing golden light across the stone walls, guiding you toward the Great Hall. When the doors finally open, you stop in awe. The Great Hall has been transformed. Hundreds of floating pumpkins hover high above the tables, each one carved with a glowing face, some cheerful, some mischievous, some grinning wide with toothy laughter. The enchanted ceiling reflects the stormy night sky, with clouds rolling across a pale moon, while dozens of bats swoop gracefully overhead, their wings shimmering like shadows of silk. Candles float in gentle clusters, their flames flickering in warm, steady light. The 4 long house tables are already laden with food. Dishes steam with roasted meats, baskets overflow with warm bread rolls, and bowls gleam with creamy soups. There are golden roast potatoes, crisp at the edges, tureens of gravy, and platters of vegetables cooked with butter and herbs. The smell alone makes your stomach rumble. As you take your seat at the Gryffindor table, the chatter of hundreds of students fills the air. Excited voices mingle with laughter, and the occasional shriek when a bat swoops a little too low. The teachers are seated at the high table, their robes glowing warmly in the candlelight. Dumbledore sits at the center, his eyes twinkling as though the feast is a secret gift meant for each of you. With a wave of his hand, the meal begins. Plates fill themselves, goblets brim with pumpkin juice, and the sounds of eating and laughter rise like music. You take a bite of roasted pumpkin, its soft sweetness balanced with spice, and feel warmth spread through you. Around you, your friends chatter about the decorations, about who carved the funniest pumpkin face, about rumors of ghosts planning something special. And indeed, they do. Partway through the feast, the doors creak open, and the ghosts of Hogwarts glide in, their forms glowing faintly silver. Nearly headless Nick tips his hat to the Gryffindors, his smile proud and a little sad, while the fat friar drifts merrily along the Hufflepuff Pamel, nibbling at food he can never quite taste. The bloody-bearing clowers silently near the Slytherins, and the Grey Lady floats with quiet grace beside the Ravenclaws. The whole hushes for a moment, then bursts into applause. The ghosts bow, sweep through the air in a kind of eerie parade, then scattered playfully, their laughter echoing like the rustle of dry leaves. The feast continues. Dishes vanish and are replaced with desserts, pungent pasties, treacle tarts, candied apples that shimmer like jewels, and great bowls of ice cream that never melt. Chocolate frogs hop across the tables, leaving trails of sugar dust, and the air is thick with sweetness. By the time the last plates vanish, your stomach is full and your eyes are heavy. The warmth of the hall wraps around you like a blanket, the chatter of friends now a soft hum. You lean back, gazing upward at the floating pumpkins and stormy ceiling, and for a moment it feels as though you are suspended between the magical and the ordinary. A child at a feast, yet part of something ancient and wondrous. Eventually the candles dim, and Dumbledore rises. His voice is calm, kind, and full of quiet joy as he wishes everyone a safe night and sweet dreams. The students rise, gathering cloaks and books, voices hushed now in the drowsy comfort of the hour. Together, you make your way through the castle, up staircases that shift lazily in the night, past portraits who smile knowingly at your full belly and sleepy eyes. Dark and Gryffindor Tower, the fire burns low, crackling softly. You slip into your dormitory, pull the curtains around your bed, and settle into the warmth of your blankets. The smell of feasts still lingers faintly in your mind, mixed with the glow of candlelight and the laughter of friends. As you close your eyes, the memory of floating pumpkins drifts into your dreams, carrying you into sleep like lanterns guiding you through the night.